I want to bring in Senator John Thune now, Senate Republican whip. Senator Thune, it's great to see you, sir. I don't know if you heard any of my dialogue with Art Laffer. We could get 4% growth again with low tax rates and trim spending and deregulation and a sound dollar. What do you think, Senator Thune? You ready to join our pro-growth balanced budget crusade?
Sign me up, Larry. It sounds great.
Good.
I would add to that. You talked about a lot of things. I think there's also you talk about some of the trade opportunities we can open up, export opportunities. That's always important in agricultural states, so that's something we care about too. But I think getting rid of the wasteful spending, looking at doing some things in the entitlement reform area, I would add energy policy to that. I think there's a huge opportunity which we're missing. In your days at the White House, we were actually energy exporters, and now we're begging places like Venezuela and Iran to send us more oil and gas, which is pretty shocking given the the reserves we have here in this country if we're just willing to access them.
Senator Thune, I want to go to Venezuela in a minute, but I want to start with this Wall Street Journal editorial called "The Senators from Venezuela." Right, so Venezuela is this socialist, communist country, and here's your colleague, loosely put, Senator Elizabeth Warren, who wants to have some kind of anti-price gouging bill, which would in effect be price controls. She's got a half a dozen senators, Democratic senators, signed up for it. She says everybody's making excess profits, okay? Singling out grocery stores, car rental firms, drug companies, and of course fossil fuel energy companies. Price control sounds to me like just about the stupidest thing imaginable. Businesses didn't cause this inflation. Government caused this inflation. And I wanted to ask you, is there any chance this kind of thing could really pass the Senate?
I hope that's one of those that is headed for the dustbin very quickly. My impression is that even on their side, if you talk about the Elizabeth Warren wing, the Bernie Sanders wing of the party, all these crazy ideas aren't shared by other Democrats. And even though they've got the majority in the Senate right now, I think we can stop a lot of these bad ideas. That one in particular, if you look at what's caused inflation, it's been Biden policy decisions. It's been actions by this administration. That's why we have runaway inflation. And the idea that going after oil and gas companies after you have essentially shut them down in this country. I mean, this is clearly an example where demand's outstripping supply. And all you got to do is create the incentives for investment in oil and gas production here in this country, and that will start to equalize, and these prices will come down. It's as simple as that. But they're looking. She's a socialist. She's looking for a socialist solution, and probably drawing on the examples of socialist countries elsewhere in the world.
Well, that's the thing. Let me just go right there. Now let's go to Venezuela itself. And it is a socialist country, or it could be a communist country. I mean, I did a lot of work on Venezuela when I was in the White House, and basically the whole country is run by Cuban Secret Service people. People know that. It's become completely statist. They run everything. And it's a very scary place. So here's the part, even beyond getting 1 million extra barrels of oil, which is highly doubtful, it's dirty oil to begin with, but even it would take a year to do that. Senator Thune, why would we want to cater to a socialist communist country like Venezuela that is backed by Cuba, another one? At this point in time, I mean, we got Putin on the run because of the brave Ukrainians and our help and NATO's help. Why would we want to help a bunch of socialist communists in this hemisphere? I don't get it, Senator Thune.
Well, I mean, there are people, I think, as you know, in our country, in the United States Congress, who are kind of kindred minds with people in socialist countries of the world. But yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. We have the biggest, most productive economy in the world in spite of the heavy hand of government taxation and regulation in this country. And if they would just lift some of those regulations and issue some of these permits to drill and quit, pressuring financial institutions not to invest in energy production in this country, we could start getting American energy back up to where it's meeting supply, not only here, but elsewhere around the world. We start exporting again. It really is that simple. But, these people look at it through a completely different lens. and it's a lens, I think, that reflects more government solutions, the heavy hand of government, taxing more, regulating more. And I, again, it's a worldview that's very different from mine, very different from ours. And I think the solutions that are going to be the durable solutions, the effective solutions to face the challenges that we face economically in this country are going to come not from the government, but from the market, and putting the right incentives out there.
It may be a shocking idea, but actually maybe less shocking, because Biden's woke policies are now so unpopular. The guy's in the middle 30s someplace. You got all these CEOs now that are running away from him, which I find quite amusing, but welcome. It's time to replace big government socialism with, dare I say it, free market capitalism, free enterprise capitalism. Because guess what? Sarah, look, you know this, John. I understand. But I'm just saying, free enterprise capitalism works pretty well. Venezuelan-style socialism or communism does not work at all. And I don't know, somebody's got to just stand up and say that. Just say, look, it's in our hemisphere. It doesn't work.
Yeah, well, and if you, again, economic freedom works, free enterprise works, free markets work, and the more we recognize that and start putting the right incentives out there, instead of using the heavy hand of regulation, the heavy hand of mandates, and all the, those things that are imposed on our economy by government, if you use a light touch and allow for investment in the right areas, the dollars will find their ways into places that will yield the results not only for the people who are making that investment, but for the American consumer, who will benefit from the lower prices that come with that. It's really, it's an economic view of the world that they clearly don't share. Biden, I think, hopefully, I mean, as gas prices go up, his approval rating goes down. There seems to be a direct correlation between the two, and it's no coincidence. American people have figured this out, and they want a different path, different solutions that are built upon a different set of principles, and we have to offer that to them. And we intend to do that. Give us a chance and get us the majorities in November, and we'll be a check and balance against this extreme agenda.
Cavalry's coming. Senator Thune, I got one more quickie for you, just one more, I promise. You've been terrific with your time. I want to go back to Title 42. The new numbers for illegal immigration are out for the month of April. They're absolutely horrible, well over 200,000. All that's got to be stopped. So I know a judge is set to make a ruling, but judicial rulings with this Biden administration don't always work. Where are we in terms of legislation in the Senate? COVID and Title 42, maybe that's broken up. Bill Haggerty, he was on this show, talked about substituting the Title 42 for COVID and to fentanyl, for example. Maybe that's the medical reason. But in any event, what can you tell us legislatively?
Well, they're not going to get a vote on COVID funding without a vote on Title 42. Our members are really dug in on that. That is, if you look at right now, and you said it, 234,000 attempted illegal crossings in the month of April, a record, all-time record. And they're talking about, if Title 42 goes away on Monday of next week, there could be as many as 18,000 a day or 500,000 a month. These are staggering numbers. And so we're going to keep the pressure on, and to the degree that this administration doesn't want to do anything, and if they wait for the courts to act, maybe they try to appeal it. But we're not going to let a COVID bill get out of the United States Senate without us having an opportunity to vote on this and put people on the record one way or the other, because there are a lot of Democrats who are saying the right thing, but following it up with actions is another thing. Are they willing to do what they say they want to do? And that is to join us in preventing this really bad policy change from happening.
All right, got it. Senator John Thune, thank you, sir. You've been very generous.
Thanks, Larry.
We'll talk soon.
Always good to be with you.